Welcome to the Ultimate Sports Podcast. Today is Tuesday, November 19th, 2019. Today I'm going to recap yesterday's Monday Night Football game. And then I'm going to get into college basketball, NBA, and NHL. Look ahead to tonight's slate. College football, we have a couple games tonight in action. Bowl projections for week number 12. And guess the lines for week number 12 of the NFL season. All right. Monday Night Football, Chiefs over the Chargers, 24-17 from Mexico City. I lose in my under bet, courtesy of Phillip Rivers having a horrific game, 4 interceptions. KC 7-4, Chargers 4-7. I mentioned Rivers with his 4 picks. He also had 353 yards on 28 from 52 passing with a touchdown. Pat Mahomes wasn't necessarily great either, 19-32, 182 yards, a touchdown, the pick. Meanwhile, Mahomes actually was the leading rusher for the Chiefs, 5 carries for 59 yards. So a big win for the Chiefs to keep their division lead over the Raiders. Next up for Kansas City, they have a bye. Next up for the Chargers, they also have a bye. Alrighty. We're going to move on to the NBA now. We're just going to go over the results and look ahead to tonight's games. I absolutely whiffed on my best bet from last night. The Knicks blew the doors off the Cavs, 123-105. I thought the Cavs would cover the 5 or perhaps win the game outright, but I was dead wrong. Knicks get revenge from that really bad loss they suffered a few weeks ago, which led to Steve Mills and Scott Perry unnecessarily speaking to the media and saying how disappointed they were in the team. By the way, the Knicks are a whopping 2-2 since then. Probably should be 3-1 if not for a game-winning fluke shot by Devontae Graham on Saturday. Knicks go to 4-10. Cleveland drops to 4-9. Julius Randle had his best game as a Knick, 30 points, as well as 4 assists and 7 rebounds. Kevin Porter Jr. had 18 points in defeat for Cleveland. Pacers over the Nets, 115-86. Indiana's 8-6. Brooklyn 5-8. Aaron Holiday, 24. Spencer Dinwiddie, 28. Raptors over the Hornets, 132-96. Toronto's a 9-4. Charlotte 6-8. OG Anunoby had 24. Marvin Williams had 14. Rockets over the Blazers, 132-108. Houston 11-3. Portland 5-9. James Harden had 36. CJ McCollum had 25. Bucks over the Bulls, 115-101. Milwaukee 10-3. Chicago 4-10. Giannis Antetokounmpo had 33. Daniel Gafford had 21. Mavs over the Spurs, 117-110. Dallas 8-5. San Antonio 5-9. Luka Doncic had 42 points with 11 rebounds and 12 assists. That guy is just a special player. Kristaps Porzingis had 18-10. DeMar DeRozan had 36 with 8 boards in defeat. Celtics over the Suns, 99-85. Good win for the Celtics. They're 11-2. Phoenix is 7-5. Jason Tatum had 26. Devin Booker had 20. Timberwolves over the Jazz, 112-102. Minnesota wins as a big underdog. They're 8-6. Utah's 8-5. Karl Anthony Towns had 29. Bojan Bogdanovic had 18. Clippers over the Thunder, 90-88. Clippers 9-5. OKC 5-8. Montrezl Harrell led the Clips in scoring with 28. And Chris Paul in his return to the Clippers as a member of the Thunder had 22. Only 4 games tonight. 8 o'clock, you have the Warriors at the Grizzlies. Trailblazers, Pelicans on NBA TV. 10 o'clock, Suns, Kings. 10:30, Thunder, Lakers. My best play, this one's tough. I am going to take the... This is really, really hard. Because these are very tricky spots for a lot of these teams. A lot of back-to-backs and whatnot. I know the safest bet would be Lakers minus 11. But we don't know if Anthony Davis is going to play. And there's the Thunder on the second of a back-to-back. But the Thunder are better than people think. So I'm going to avoid that. I'm going to continue my picking against Golden State and take Memphis minus the 6. I'm going to say they win by 10. And Ja Morant will be the best player on the court tonight. Now we'll move on to the NHL. some interesting results from yesterday. We'll look ahead to tonight's slate. Only 2 games were on the slate last night. Capitals over the Ducks 5-2. Washington is 16-3-4. Anaheim 10-10-2. Number 1 started the game with 32 saves on 34 shots. Braden Holtby. Number 2 started the game with a goal. Richard Panik. Number 3 started the game with a goal. Chandler Stevenson. Coyotes over the Kings 3-0. Coyotes 13-7-2. LA 8-12-1. Antti Ranta, 31 saves on 31 shots, was the number 1 star of the game. Number 2 star with the goal and an assist, Connor Garland. Number 3 started the game with 2 assists, Christian Dvorak. Tonight's slate's much bigger. 7 o'clock, the Wild at the Sabres, Flyers at the Panthers, Bruins at the Devils, Islanders at the Penguins, Canadians at the Blue Jackets, 7:30, the Senators at the Red Wings, 8 o'clock, NBCSN, Lightning Blues. I'm going to assume it's Kenny Albert and Pierre Maguire because no Knicks, no Rangers tonight. Knicks are in Philly on Wednesday night. Rangers are home Detroit tomorrow night, or home Washington, my bad. I'm going to go with the Blues here at home. I don't get why the Lightning are favored in this game at all. They're overreacting to that great game that they had against the Rangers when they scored a whopping 9 goals. So I think the Blues are a really safe pick. They're an underdog, and they should not be an underdog. So give me the St. Louis Blues to win at home tonight. Jets, Predators, Hurricanes, Blackhawks at 8:30. Canucks, Stars, 9 o'clock, Avs, Flames. 10 o'clock, Maple Leafs, Golden Knights. 10:30, NBCSN. Oilers, Sharks. The Oilers were in the same spot a few weeks or days ago. I think it was a few days ago, and lost. Do I think they bounce back here as an underdog? No. I think the Sharks are playing a lot better right now than their record indicates. I think their slow start was starting to prove to be an aberration, and I think they'll get above 500 tonight with a win here at home against an Oiler team that's better than expected, but I just don't trust the Oilers on the road. So give me San Jose to get a big win at home tonight. Now we'll move on to college basketball. Some interesting results from last night. Not a huge slate last night. The bigger slate is obviously today, which we will get to. Number 3, Michigan State over Charleston Southern 94-46. Michigan State 3-1, Charleston Southern 1-4. Number 9, Kentucky over Utah Valley 82-74. Kentucky 3-1, Utah Valley 3-2. Bryant over Niagara 73-62. Bryant 4-2, Niagara 0-4. Akron over South Carolina Upstate 76-45. Akron 3-1, South Carolina Upstate 1-4. Central Michigan over Siena Heights 115-58. Central Michigan's 4-0. SMU over Evansville 59-57. SMU 4-0. Evansville 3-1. West Virginia over Northern Colorado 69-61. West Virginia 3-0. Northern Colorado 2-3. Notre Dame over Presbyterian 63-53. Notre Dame 4-1. Presbyterian 1-3. Oklahoma over William & Mary 75-70. Oklahoma 4-0. William & Mary 4-1. Troy over Carver 84-57. Troy 1-3. UNC Greensboro over App State 55-41. Greensboro 4-2. App State 3-3. LIU over Delaware State 92-84. LIU 1-3. Delaware State 0-4. SC State over Wilberforce 103-79. South Carolina State is 2-2. Pitt over Monmouth 63-50. Pitt 3-2. Monmouth 1-4. Coastal Carolina over Middle Tennessee 93-72. Coastal 2-2. Middle 3-1. North Florida over Trinity Baptist 115-39. North Florida is 4-1. Oakland over Harvard 60-50. Oakland 4-2. Hartford 3-2. Army over Fairleigh Dickinson 81-65. Army 2-2. Fairleigh Dickinson 1-3. Belmont over High Point 90-51. Belmont 3-1. High Point 0-4. Southern over Ecclesia 121-55. Southern's 2-2. McNeese over Arlington Baptist 103-51. McNeese is 2-4. Lehigh over Misericordia 87-68. Lehigh is now 3-2. Number 19, Auburn over Colgate 91-62. This was my best bet for college basketball that I never said on the podcast. Auburn 5-0, Colgate 1-3. Northern Illinois over Longwood 65-48. Northern Illinois 3-2, Longwood 4-2. Illinois over Hawaii 66-53. Illinois 3-1, Hawaii 3-2. Mizzou over Wofford 75-56. Mizzou 3-1, Wofford 2-3. UMKC over Bacone College 111-38. UMKC 2-3. South Dakota over SIU Edwardsville 71-56. South Dakota's 5-0. SIU Edwardsville 2-3. Eastern Illinois over Indiana Northwest 114-61. Eastern Illinois 2-2. Western Kentucky over Campbellsville 109-66. Western Kentucky's 4-0. Texas State over Jackson State 73-58. Texas State 3-2. Jackson State 0-5. Number 10 Ohio State over Stetson 86-51. Ohio State 4-0. Stetson 2-2. Tennessee State over Fisk 99-65. Tennessee 3-1. Number 15 Utah State over UTSA 82-50. Utah State's 5-0. And UTSA is 0-5. Number 23 Colorado over UC Irvine 69-53. Colorado's 3-0. UC Irvine's 3-2. Montana Tech upsets Montana 74-72. It's a horrible loss for Montana, who's now 1-3 on the season. TCU over Air Force 65-54. TCU is 3-0. Air Force 2-2. Cal over Prairie View 54-50. Cal's 4-0. Prairie View 1-4. UNLV over Abilene Christian 72-58. UNLV 2-3. Abilene Christian 1-3. UCLA over Southern Utah 76-61. UCLA 4-0. Southern Utah 2-2. Tonight's slate, 5:30 Purdue Northwest against Chicago State. 6 o'clock region at Morgan State. 6:30 Big Ten Network. Bucknell, Penn State. Penn State should win and cover to 15. 7 o'clock Vermont and number 7 Virginia. Virginia's minus 14.5. I think Vermont's overvalued here because they upset St. John's. Vermont's the best team in the IEC, but I don't think they'll cover, let alone win against Virginia. So give me Virginia to cover the points. Nichols, Rhode Island. Nevada, Davidson. That's a nice game. Loyola, Maryland, George Mason. Navy, Liberty. Merrimack, Providence. Alcorn State, NC State. NC State should have no problem there. UMBC, LSU. LSU should have no issue. New Hampshire, Central Con State. Charleston, Marshall. Delaware, St. Francis, Pennsylvania. Delaware undefeated, by the way. New York, Potsdam, and Albany. Brown, Sacred Heart. Thomas College, Dartmouth. North Carolina, Wesleyan, UNC, Wilmington. FIU, Cleveland State. Purdue, Fort Wayne, Kent State. Norfolk State, Bradley. Alice Slade College, Eastern Kentucky. Mercer, Georgia Southern. Boston University, South Carolina. South Carolina should have no issue there. They're undefeated. Omaha and Dayton. NC Central, Youngstown State. Penn, Lafayette. Alma, Western Michigan. Northeastern, Holy Cross. 7:30 Manhattan, Stanford. Louisiana College, Northwestern State. Seattle, Ole Miss. Ole Miss should have no problem covering the 18. Although I won't be shocked if it's close, or in doubt late, I should say, meaning the spread. The Citadel, Southeast Missouri State. Mississippi Valley State. Louisiana Tech. 8 o'clock East Tennessee State. Number 4 Kansas. Furman, Alabama. Tennessee Martin, Northern Iowa. North Dakota, Milwaukee. NC-18, North Texas. Radford, Northwestern. Spring Hill, South Alabama. Rogers State, Oral Roberts. Texas Southern, Arkansas. Gardner, Wichita State. Southern Miss, Iowa State. Arkansas, Pine Bluff, Kansas State. North Alabama, South Dakota State. Houston, Rice. Southern Illinois against Murray State. 8:30 Fairfield at number 6 Maryland. 9 o'clock Texas Arlington at number 8 Gonzaga. Montana State, Grand Canyon. West Coast Baptist, Weber State. New Mexico, UTEP. Detroit Mercy, Wyoming. Pepperdine, USC. 10 o'clock Coppin State Pacific. Notre Dame, Denauer, Santa Clara. Cal State Bakersfield, San Francisco. Maryland Eastern, Stanford. And at 11 o'clock Maine at number 25 Washington. Bowl projections for week number 13 of college football. A lot of the normal bowl games are the same, but I had to make some significant changes at the top. Also, with the college football playoff due to the biggest injury that this sport has seen in years. So, my new college football playoff, Fiesta Bowl, I have number 2 Ohio State against number 3 Clemson. Peach Bowl, I have number 1 LSU against number 4 Oklahoma. Rest of the New Year's Six Bowls, Cotton Bowl, I have Boise State against Utah. Orange Bowl, Virginia, Penn State. Rose Bowl, Oregon, Minnesota. Sugar Bowl, Georgia, Baylor. Other bowl games, the Bahamas Bowl, North Texas, Western Michigan, Frisco, Tulane Liberty, New Mexico, Western Kentucky, Hawaii, Cure Bowl, SMU, Georgia Southern, Boca Raton, Temple, Miami of Ohio, Camellia, Northern Illinois, Louisiana, Vegas, Air Force, Washington State, New Orleans, Marshall, Appalachian State, Gasparilla, Navy, Louisiana Tech, Hawaii Bowl, BYU, Wyoming, Independence, Southern Miss, Toledo, Quick Lane, North Carolina, Michigan State, Military, UCF, Florida State, Pinstripe, Wake, and Illinois, Texas, Kansas State, and Auburn, Holiday, Michigan, and Washington, Cheez-It, Nevada, and Iowa State, Camping World, Virginia Tech, Oklahoma State, First Responder, FAU, TCU, Music City, Pitt, and Mississippi State, Redbox, UAB, Cal, Belk, Miami, Tennessee, Sun, Louisville, Arizona State, Liberty, Cincinnati, Notre Dame, Arizona, San Diego State, Georgia State, Alamo, Texas, USC, Citrus, Wisconsin, Alabama, Outback, Iowa, Florida, Birmingham, Kentucky, Memphis, Gator, Illinois A&M, Famous Idaho Potato, Ohio, and Utah State, Armed Forces, Buffalo, and Fresno, Mobile, Alabama, Central Michigan against Arkansas State. Next up, college football playoff rankings for week number 13. They obviously come out tonight at 7 o'clock on ESPN. Should be an interesting ranking. Without further ado, here I go. I'm going to go from 25 to 7 and then 1 through 6. So the college football playoff went back to its usual ways of announcing the college football playoff rankings instead of going from 25 to 1 like they did during the Classic at MSG a few weeks ago. They went back to the normal ways last week from going from 25 to 7 and then 1 through 6. So I'm going to do it that way. Number 25, I have the Air Force Falcons. 24, the Virginia Tech Hokies. 23, the Virginia Cavaliers. 22, Appalachian State Mountaineers. 21, the Iowa Hawkeyes. 20, the Oklahoma State Cowboys. 19, the SMU Mustangs. 18, the Boise State Broncos. 17, the Memphis Tigers. 16, the Cincinnati Bearcats. 15, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. 14, Michigan Wolverines. 13, Wisconsin Badgers. 12, the Auburn Tigers. 11, the Minnesota Golden Gophers. 10, the Florida Gators. 9, Penn State Nittany Lions. 8, the Alabama Crimson Tide. 7, the Oklahoma Sooners. And then to the top, number 1, the LSU Tigers. 2, the Ohio State Buckeyes. 3, the Clemson Tigers. 4, the Georgia Bulldogs. 5, the Oregon Ducks. And 6, the Utah Utes. I'm actually going to make a change. I forgot that Auburn lost last week, so I'm going to put them at number 15 between Notre Dame and Cincinnati. So, again, from 25 to 1 this time because I just made a last-minute change because I forgot Auburn lost last week. 25 Air Force, 24 Virginia Tech, 23 Virginia, 22 Appalachian State, 21 Iowa, 20 Oklahoma State, 19 SMU, 18 Boise State, 17 Memphis, 16 Cincinnati, 15 Auburn, 14 Notre Dame, 13 Michigan, 12 Wisconsin, 11 Minnesota, 10 Florida, 9 Penn State, 8 Alabama, 7 Oklahoma, 6 Utah, 5 Oregon, 4 Georgia, 3 Clemson, 2 Ohio State, and 1 LSU. Now I'm going to pick tonight's college football games. There are 2 games on the docket for tonight. The sides and totals are brought to you by DraftKings. So the first game tonight, Eastern Michigan against Northern Illinois on ESPN2. Northern Illinois is giving 4.5. The over-under is 56.5. This is tough, but I'm going to take Eastern Michigan getting the points, but I think Northern Illinois will win the game. I just think it's close. I could just see this being a 2-point game. I know the over is intriguing too, but MAC games, for whatever reason, are like hit or miss with the totals. So I'm just going to hold my nose and take Eastern Michigan getting the points, but I do think that Northern Illinois will win the game by 2 points. I'm going to say it's like a 30 to 27, 28 type of game. Ohio and Bowling Green on ESPNU. Ohio's laying 20.5. The over-under is 56.5. This time I'm going to take a total because it's a popular trend with the underdog, that is Bowling Green. The unders. I'm going to take the under of the Ohio Bowling Green game, but I do think Ohio will win. I think that number is pretty large. So, in terms of the side, so I'm going to take the under 56.5, and I'm going to say Ohio wins the game like 33 to 16 or something like that, which will come out as an under. Now I'm going to do guess the lines for week number 12 of the NFL season. So many interesting games this week on the docket. So we're going to start with Thursday night. The Colts are at the Texans. I picked the Texans by 3.5, and that's what the line is. So the first correct guess of the podcast. Sunday, Buccaneers at the Falcons. I have the Falcons by 3. It's 4.5. Broncos at the Bills. I have the Bills by 6.5. It's 4. So Vegas really thinks that the Broncos could hang around a little bit. Giants at the Bears. I have the Bears by 5.5. It's 6, so I was a half point off. Steelers at the Bengals. I have Steelers by 7. It's 6.5, so a half point off. Dolphins at the Browns. I have the Browns by an 11.5. It's 10.5, so 1 point off. Panthers at the Saints. I have Saints by 8.5. It's 9.5, so 1 point off. Raiders at the Jets. I have Raiders by 4. It's 3. 1 point off. Seahawks at the Eagles. I have the Eagles by 2.5. 1.5, so 1 point off. Lions at the Redskins. This was a tough one because it's Jeff Driscoll against Dwayne Haskins and not Haskins versus Matthew Stafford. So this was tough because of Driscoll. I took Washington getting 1. So Detroit be favored by 1. They're favored by 3.5. So I was 2.5 off there. Jaguars at the Titans. I have Titans by 3. That's what the line is. Cowboys at the Patriots. I have Patriots by 7 and 6.5. So a half point off. Packers at the 49ers. I went 49ers by 1.5. It is 49ers by 3, so I was a 1.5 off. And Monday night, Ravens at the Rams. I went Rams by 1, but it's Ravens by 3. So Vegas really, really buying in to the Ravens. So that was the line that I was most off with. And this was like my best guessing week for the NFL lines game that I do on the podcast every week in terms of how close or far I was. So I wasn't totally off on a lot of these, maybe with the exception of the Monday night games, because a lot of them I was a half point off, 1 point off, 1.5 off, and then I nailed Jaguars, Titans, and Colts, Texans. So I nailed the 2 AFC South games. Best bet of the day brought to you by DraftKings. Interesting slate of games in both college basketball, college football, NBA. I like doing the college basketball because they're just so easy. Penn State, Liberty. I'm going to take Kent State, but I don't feel good about it. Virginia, Rhode Island, LSU, South Carolina, Dayton, Providence, Bradley. I'm not taking FIU. That is a road games for them, so not taking that. I'm going to go hinge on a prayer and take Northeastern. And I'm going to take Iowa State against Southern Miss. That brings us to plus 126. I'm going to wager 53 cents, payout of $1.20. That's it for the podcast today. I'll be back tomorrow recapping college football, college basketball, NBA, and NHL. Look ahead to tomorrow's slate. NFL power rankings tomorrow. Maybe MLB offseason predictions podcast later tonight. We'll see how much time I have. And I hope you guys have a great day, everybody.